Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda. So, in the Srimad Bhagavatam, we can read how in Vedic times Brahmanas would tie their hair in a top knot and then wear a jewel on top of their head, because they were carrying, and these jewels were known as Sirumani. The Siru. So the Sirumani, the jewel on the head of the Brahmana, represented the jewel of transcendental knowledge, which they were carrying on their head. When Garga Muni came to the house of Nanda Maharaj, it was an extraordinary moment. Extraordinary. Because a great saintly personality was coming to the house. So Nanda Maharaj was very pleased to have such a wonderful personality in the house. And in this way, Nanda Maharaj was very happy. Yes. And so the Brahmanas, they were enlightening society with spiritual knowledge, because it is spiritual knowledge that brings us enlightenment. Now, in Kali Yuga, where are Brahmanas to be found? Kalo Sudra Sambhava. Everyone has become a person who is not following any rules or regulations in his life, who has no principles, and who simply follows the senses. In other words, Sudra. So that Sudra type of population is now very prominent. But somehow or other, this movement is uplifting anybody. And now everyone can wear jewels of knowledge on the head. And even when we are not Brahmanas by qualification, everyone can become Brahman by initiation. That is possible. By initiation in this movement. Previously, men would get the Brahminical initiation, and ladies would follow their husband. But now, men from Sudra background can come up to Brahminical initiation. Ladies, everybody can wear this jewel of transcendental knowledge. So this is what we have in this movement. We are known as the movement full of jewels. Yes. Not jewels on our ears, not jewels on our fingers. In China, sometimes rich men in the past would have 1, 2, 3 moved, and they would put a jewel. So then when they smiled, then bling, bling, bling. Yes, they would do. Looks very aristocratic. Can imagine. But no, the jewels of transcendental knowledge. Jewels of transcendental knowledge, it is said they are great gifts. The jewel of transcendental knowledge is delivered to us by the great acharyas. Evam parampara pratam imam rajarsyo vidu sakalniyamata yoginasthaparantapa. That in the cyclic succession, this knowledge, this jewel of knowledge comes down. Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur talks about this also, about the jewel of transcendental knowledge. And he says that when we receive this jewel of transcendental knowledge, then we have to take that knowledge and apply it in our lives, then realize that knowledge ourselves. And only when it's fully realized, then actually the parampara will happen. So each time transcendental knowledge comes, it brings us the seed of transcendental knowledge, and then it flourishes, and until it is fully manifest in us, and then we pass it on again to others, and again it will have to fructify there. So this is the process of dealing with transcendental knowledge. That it is received and that then it has to be taken to heart and that we have to readjust our life accordingly. And then this transcendental knowledge will act and flourish and we will become ourselves surcharged with transcendental energy. Transcendental knowledge is not just that we become top heavy, you know, I have a big jewel on the head and I'm very learned. Of course, that we have seen in Vedic times. Navadvip, at the time of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, when he appeared in this world, was a great place of learning. Everyone would come to Navadvip to study. They were studying, of course, scriptures, not just, you know, not just ordinary university, but transcendental knowledge they were studying. And in Navadvip, people came from everywhere, but not only were they studying about bhakti, they were also studying other branches of Vedic knowledge, like the Nyaya Shastra, all about logic, you know. Is the pot in the air or is the air in the pot? Now, what do you think about that? It's a good question. Is the pot in the air or the air in the pot? We can talk about this for a long time. So, well, in one sense one can say the pot is in the air, but in another sense we can say the air is in the pot. For us it's not so complicated. Achincha Veda Tattva. Both simultaneously, one and many. But some brahmanas actually had pure transcendental knowledge. They knew that Krishna was the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And they knew that devotional service to Krishna is the essence in life. So yes, this is our heritage. This knowledge was preserved very carefully and passed on from one great personality to another. Swayambhu Narada Shambhu Kumar Kapilo Manu Pralado Janako Bhishmo Balir Vyasaki Vayam. So these are known as the 12 Mahajans. These 12 Mahajans are listed in the Bhagavatam. And these 12 Mahajans are like especially outstanding spiritual teachers, spiritual authorities. Lord Brahma, Narada. You read in the Bhagavatam, Narada is everybody's spiritual master. He's always appearing and giving some instructions, and you know, he's Prahlad's spiritual master. He's so many spiritual masters. He also instructs the demons. Yes. Kamsa was saying, "Oh, Narada is my friend." Yes. He comes. Yes. So in this way, Narada is the instructor of many. Narada instructed Dhruva Maharaj. And of course, Narada instructed Vyasadeva. And Vyasadeva, in turn, also instructed many. In our line, we are looking at Krishna as the first personality in the parampara, then going to Lord Brahma, then going to Vyas. Then we remember that Madhva Acharya, you might have seen the video, and if you haven't seen the video, you can find it on YouTube. And you find the biography of Madhva Acharya, and you can read the whole story, and you can read how Madhva went into the Himalayas, and that he went there to read his Bhagavad Gita commentary to Vyasadeva. Madhva Acharya, of course, lived 3,500 years later, or at least 3,000 years later than Vyasadeva, but that didn't matter. Because Vyasadeva is still alive. Although Vyasadeva was on the planet, right, at 5,000 years ago, you can still go in the Himalayas and Vyasadeva is still there in the cave, high in the Himalayas. But you have to go very high. And the air is very thin and it is very cold, really cold. I've been close to that cave, but very cold. And very high. Yes. So anyway, there in the Himalayas, Madhvacharya met with Vyasadeva, discussed the Bhagavad Gita with Vyasadeva, his commentary, and Vyasadeva made a few corrections. So this is the connection between Vyasadeva and Madhva. That Vyasadeva, yes, he made the corrections, and in this way he signed off on the commentary. Yes, alright. Now it's bona fide. So in this way, the parampara comes from Krishna to Lord Brahma, to Narada, to Vyas, and then to Madhva. And then in the Madhva line, his disciples, until we come to Madhavendra Puri. And then from Madhavendra Puri we come to Ishvara Puri. From Ishvara Puri we come to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and from Chaitanya Mahaprabhu everything comes down, 6 Goswamis, and then it comes down to Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami, then it comes down to Narottam Das Thakur, who, although he lived at least 100 years after, he took great inspiration in Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami. And therefore, he's the next main Acharya. And the one who took great inspiration in Narottam Das Thakur was Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur. So, although there was again 100 years in between. And there are names in between, but now I'm just giving the big names. Then of course Baladev Vijayabhusan. Baladev Vijayabhusan is very interesting because he was originally initiated in the Madhva Sampradaya. This is a sannyasi in the Madhva Sampradaya who became a Gaudiya. So he became a follower of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So he's the bridge. Because he makes a book where he makes the philosophical connection between our Sampradaya and the one of Madhva. We have a physical connection with the line of Madhva through Madhavendra Puri and then through the Acharyas, and we have a philosophical connection with Madhva. And Baladev Vijayabhusan, he writes about that philosophical connection. And he explains that the 9 prameyas, the 9 different philosophical theses of Madhva are accepted by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. That Madhva said Vishnu is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So, okay, there is one Supreme Personality of Godhead. And that the Jiva is eternally separated and eternally the servant of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So we're learning all these jewels of knowledge in this line, that there is one Supreme Personality of Godhead, and that we are the eternal servant of that Supreme Personality of Godhead. Even after this life, it continues. We are serving Krishna, but not to get some reward. Oh, I'm chanting so much, so where are my jewels? Where is my reward? Where is my benefit? Yes. I'm bowing down every day. Not every day, really. Nose on the ground, My nose is becoming flat. I don't know your nose. Your nose also, that's right. You bow too much. Your nose is paining. I think so. Anyway, we are bowing down every day. And what is our reward? What is the reward for bowing down? Bowing down. because the nectar is in bowing down to Krishna itself. It's not that we're bowing down to Krishna. All right, Krishna, you are the Supreme Lord. Okay. I wish I would have had that job. But somehow or other. Anyway, someone's got to be the boss, and I guess it's you. So, all right. I bow down to you. Now what you're giving me. Every day, faithfully, I'm bowing down. So many years. Now what am I getting? Am I getting a heaven, eternal? Like, what am I getting there? Lots of gold and jewels and palaces and beautiful planes that can fly in the sky. What else am I getting? Nice food also, yes. Eternally, please. Yes, thank you. What other rewards are you having for me? No. In some scriptures you will find like that. In some tradition it said if a man is pious then he gets 17 maidens in the heavens. The one where they have they're promising like this in their scripture. But here we see, no, that's not the spiritual world. The spiritual world is different. In the spiritual world, all you get is more bowing down. From all your bowing down, you get more bowing down. That's from all your chanting. What you get from all this chanting? More chanting. What you get from all your reading of Bhagavatam? More reading. What you get from all that taking prasadam? More prasadam. Yes. You are very intelligent. I think you have a lot of knowledge. Yes. So, yes, this is true. More and more and more. But we also have a capacity in the spiritual world, see. Here, usually the cooking takes longer than the eating. At least in our movement, maybe not in the Karmi world, there you throw something in the microwave, and bing, it takes 3 minutes and then 10 minutes to eat. But with us, they cook for hours and hours, and then it comes to eating, and then, some people, they chew every bite 50 times. They can take a whole hour to eat, but it's rare. That's very rare. I am not such a person. I should chew more. Would be better for health. Eat slowly. I don't like to do anything slowly. I don't like slow kirtan. I also don't like slow eating. A little bit slow driving. I've experienced this. That with fast driving, the car started rolling and then I was flying. So driving can be a bit slow. Anyway, so in the spiritual world, our capacity is also unlimited. We can eat unlimited. And you never full. No? Just eat more, no problem. And you can and you don't become like... Sometimes when I travel, they give me a bag with travel prasadam, which is this big, So I put it under my cloth, I just put it under my cloth and said, look, if I eat all this, what will I become, So that I get the point, And how can, I would get like a belly like this, how can I eat all this, How can you give me such a big bag, It's impossible. So that's the material world, Here we have that problem, And if you do it regularly, then it goes in all directions. Anyway, but in the spiritual world, no problem. One can just eat and everything is is fine. Of course, Madhumangal is a little more round than the others. That's just my constitution. So yes, this is our movement. The movement, it doesn't just give us knowledge of the material world. People are interested in Vedic science because they know that in Vedic science there are solutions, right? Solutions for material problems. You know, like there is a medical, in Ayurveda there is a famous scripture known as the Sushruta Samhita. And in the Sushruta Samhita, it said if someone had some accident and they had some fracture or something, what they would do, they would put a bandage around it with some herbs, and then on the herbs, on the bandage, a red line would form exactly where the fracture was. And then they would set the bone, right? Accordingly, they would treat the bone. Now, if you think about that, that sounds better than an X-ray machine, you know. It's like, my sister actually has a medical background in radiology. So, you know, she used to work, and they all the time used to give her time off. She had a lot of holidays, because they wear a badge, right? And the badge is a detector for radioactivity. And then they are sitting behind LED screens, they have LED aprons, right? Still they get too much radiation, and then they get holidays. Yeah? I saw it myself in my own family, with my own eyes. So much holidays. So I was thinking about this is not a good job. I was thinking that, it's like, so even on the airports, I'm always careful with these X-ray machines. I don't get my hand too close to it, because they have this little curtain, you know, like rubber curtain, and people put their hands right in front. The radioactivity goes beyond that curtain. So I put it on the belt and keep my hands away from too close. You know? I know from my sister. Anyway, so yes, so we're looking for solutions for material problems. So then the Vedic culture did everything with herbs. Well, that in a way sounds much better, you know, if you think about that. They were dealing with the same problems, but they had better solutions. So in many ways, Vedic culture offers us many solutions that are oftentimes more helpful than the modern solutions. So the modern world can learn many things from the Vedic culture. How to live in this world. Okay, very nice. And people are interested in that. But we are more interested in something else. We are more interested in the spiritual world. Not only in going to the spiritual world, but in bringing the spiritual world down on earth. Already, yes. Turn your house into the spiritual world. Why not? We all know that Prabhupada used to call these pictures, paintings, windows to the spiritual world. Right? So for a moment, just look around. We have a few windows here. That also is a window to the spiritual world. And then we have what people generally call windows. Right? Those are the pictures. Those are the pictures. Those are the paintings. That's not real. Whatever you see through there, that's not real. That's the picture. That's just a temporary picture. That's not actually real, because now whatever you see through that window, you can see that on the other side. In the future, it will not be there anymore. It will be gone. So it's not real. It's only temporary. But this was there in the past, is there in the present, and will be there in the future. This is eternal, so this is real. That's the picture. It takes a little mental adjustment. You have to chant a lot of Hare Krishna. A lot, before you start seeing it like that. You can't just see that in a day, you know, like you come in. That's the picture, and that's the window. Oh. What kind of juice has Maharaj been drinking? It was very nice juice. It was 3 days old, bubbling a little bit, and it was very tasty, wasn't it, Vyas? He also had some. That's why he's laughing so much. Maybe as a child already, like in the Asterix Obelix story. Obelix fell in the nectar. Anyway, so our windows and our paintings, by chanting Hare Krishna, our perspective changes. And suddenly our interest is not so much more what's there in the windows. Usually people look at the windows and they look at the neighbors. And they have some little curtain also, so they can secretly look at the neighbors. These days it's even better, because you can pull out your phone and you can spy on your neighbors on Facebook. And you can see, whoa, everything they're doing. So in this way, we are very happy to look at what our neighbors are doing, what our neighbors are having, and then we have to have also. So therefore, the window is an important element in the house, because you can check on your neighbors. Now, after chanting Hare Krishna, the interest changes, and these neighbors, all right, you know, let the neighbors be the neighbors, and we'll have kirtan, and you know, and the neighbors will hear the kirtan, and that will take care of the neighbors, and some prasad. But we look this way. We look at these windows, the windows of the spiritual world. So slowly our interest is changing. In the beginning we pray, oh Krishna, oh Krishna, oh Krishna, please, please, please send me, oh Krishna, oh Krishna, oh Krishna, please cure my grandmother's arthritis, oh Krishna, please let the children pass the exams, oh Krishna, 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 the dog, you know, please let the dog be healthy, oh Krishna, we need a new car, Krishna, oh Krishna, you know, oh, it's important. We need it. What can I do? It's old. We need no one. Oh Krishna, oh Krishna. Oh Krishna, why I have to work so hard? Krishna, give us more holidays. There is many things we can pray for. Yes. It's very nice. Yes. Some people are interested in holy days and others are interested in holidays. Yeah. So anyway, the point is that we are getting in this way in the beginning we approach Krishna to fix our material life. But later on, isn't this material life, you know, 'tis what it is, there's always something. One time, I went to Rajasthan to see the deities of Madan Mohan. You know, the original ones. Because the deity, you know the story of Sanatana Goswami and Madan Mohan? Mm. And that Sanatana Goswami, Chant. These deities were in the house of one devotee, one Kobe, in Mathura, in some Brahmana's house. And this Brahmana had many children. And he also had the deities and he treated the deity just like one of the children. So all the children had to sit down in a line, because they had no tables, so just on the floor, and for taking prasad, and he would serve, and then he would put the deity there also, give the deity a plate, and also serve prasad. Anyway, so then when Sanatana Goswami saw that, he came begging to that door. He saw they treating the deity like this is not possible. Then Sanatana said, you should give that deity to me. And then the deity came in the dream of the Brahma and said, I want to go with Sanatana Goswami. And then Sanatana Goswami, he was taking care of the deity, but he also couldn't offer so much. Now, he had no temple and no altar. So he didn't want to put the deity on the floor, because it's not so suitable. So, but therefore, better than put the deity on the floor, he hung it in the tree with some cloths. Right? So then Madan Mohan was hanging in a tree, so at least not standing on the floor. I said, well, okay, all right then. And then Sanatana Goswami, he didn't have many offerings. He would go begging and get some atta and then make some balls and throw them in the ashes, and they would cook like that, and he would offer that to Krishna. So one day the deity said, oh, could I have little salt? Yes, so still, just that. Then Sanatana Goswami chastised Madan Mohan and said, what? You want salt? You know, we are mendicants, you know, we cannot not entertain such sense gratification. We are simply keeping body and soul together, and you know, this is just sense enjoyment, it's not possible. Right? So what could Madan Mohan say? So we know that Madan Mohan arranged for a boat to get stuck on the river. Suddenly there was a storm, and this boat was on the river, and it got stuck on a sandbank. It was really stuck. So then what to do? It was a real difficult thing. Oh yes, difficult thing. And the owner of the boat started crying. His boat got stuck on the bank. But everyone, he asked the local people what to do. They said, go to Sanatana Goswami, he knows the answers to everything, because he used to be Prime Minister. So he went to Sanatana Goswami. Sanatana Goswami said, pray to Madan Mohan. Pray to Madan Mohan. So the man prayed to Madan Mohan. He said, now you go and pull the boat in a westerly direction, and it will come off the bank. So he did, he pulled, and the boat came off the bank. And then, after that, that businessman, Mr. Kapoor, he came back and he said, oh, thank you so much, what can I do to repay you? Then, I said, no, it wasn't me who did it. It was Madan Mohan. It was all his mercy. Remember, you prayed to him. He said, oh, then I want to make an offering to Madan Mohan. I said, yes, you make an offering. Then you can make a temple. So in this way, the temple was made for Madan Mohan. And what was in that boat?
Chant. Oh, sorry.
Wow. I wasn't looking at you.
Oh, thanks for the mercy.
There was soul in that boat. Krishna arranged for his own soul. You don't want to give soul, then you have to arrange himself. So he did. And he arranged for a temple also, so that could offer him sabji, puri, and samosa, and many nice tasty things, you know, because hanging in a tree, he's not really happy with that either. So Krishna made arrangement. But then later, some Muslim invasion came to India, they also came to Vrindavan, and started to break temples and all these things and break deities. So then they sent the deity to Rajasthan. And first in Jaipur, later the deity was in Karoli. So I went to Karoli, and it is a safe place. It was difficult for the Muslims to go there, because when you go to Karoli, okay, I don't know if you are from Mauritius, so I think you can handle boats and waves. But it is like that because it is just the land, it is just small hills like this, one after the other, and the road is just. It's as if you are at sea, you know, on a boat. On the boat. Anyway, so we're driving to the temple of Madan Mohan, to Karoli. So I came to this temple and they opened the door, the deity, and Madan Mohan was smiling. He is the attractor of Cupid, and he was smiling. Even I felt attracted. Then the pujari was so nice. The pujari said, oh, you have come from so far, please come. Come and take some Mahaprasad. So he sat me down in one room and brought me a big plate with all kinds of nice preparations. And it was all like, very yum. And then, what happened was, then I said to him, oh, such a nice place here in Karoli. I said, you are so fortunate, you know, that you are here with the deity in such a transcendental place. And he said, like, you know, just outside in the world, Kali Yuga is really going on. Kali Yuga chal raha hai. Kali Yuga chal raha hai. Ji, say hai. तो जानता है ना कलयुग चल रहा है. So I was speaking in Hindi with him and I explaining how Kali-yug chal raha hai. Everywhere this Kali-yug is going on. And then he says to me, Kali-yug. He says there are 1,000 Kali-yugs in a day of Brahma. He said it is like nothing. For Brahma is like clouds in the sky. This is this Kali-yug. It comes, it goes. So in ISKCON sometimes we get into Kali-yug Katha. You know, you also? Says, oh, Kali-yug, oh, so bad, you know, really, Kali-yug, Kali-yug, no, Kali-yug, no, have you heard? Yes. Listen, Kali-yug, no. Like that is, you know Kali-yug? He does. Yes, Chaudhra, what to do? But our pujari was not impressed by Kali-yug because he had a bigger transcendental vision. And then he wasn't looking at, yes, these things are going on, but this is not so important. Yes, terrible things are going on in Kali-yug. Cheating, lying, gambling, meat eating, illicit sex, intoxication, all these things are going on. This is the business of Kali. But who cares about these things? Our pujari said, these things are just temporary. But Krishna is eternal. Yes, our Krishna is eternal, see? So you don't have to worry. No, don't worry, because Krishna is eternal. Yes, he is eternal. And therefore, he is our shelter. Yes. We can count on Krishna. We are sure that Krishna will always be there. It's not that, where's Krishna gone? Sorry, he moved away. No, he moved away. No, sorry. You know, yeah. No, he's gone now. Yeah, Krishna's gone. I have bad news for you, Krishna's gone. He moved away. If anyone tells you that, you say, no, Krishna is eternal. Right? He's always there. He is always there. And we are also eternal. Sometimes people have told me, I don't like you. I say, okay, I'm sorry. I don't like you. And then I say, well, I'm very sorry. If I could, I would stop to exist, but what can I do? I am eternal. We are all eternal. So what to do? What to do? But then, I mean, there is one book, a French book from Simone de Beauvoir. You may know Simone de Beauvoir because you are, after all, from Mauritius. Huh? So she was the wife of Jean-Paul Sartre, who is the famous existentialist philosopher. So these existentialists basically say there is no God, there is no purpose, this world was created and there is no reason for it, and therefore there's no reason for existence. That is what they say. So it's a bit strange. If you think like that, then what's the point? So anyway, she writes a story that in the Middle Ages there was a man who was doing alchemy. You heard of alchemy? No? How they used to make gold with some stone touching, and they have some, and they need to take some mercury and it's bubbling in glass bottles with fire under it. And then they could make gold and other things, yes? So this man, he was making some elixir, some special liquid, the elixir of eternal life. And he was making it, and he was sure that he did it. He was sure that he did it. He said, if you drink this, you become immortal. I have done it. I have made it. So he drank it and said, now I am immortal. He said, but how can I be sure? What if I made a mistake? So he decided to test it on a mouse. So he gave the mouse some drops of the elixir, and then he put the mouse in some machine and just squashed it. Very nasty. But anyway, and then that mouse, it was back. And then he knew, I'm eternal, I'm eternal. And the next thought was, and now I have to live eternally with a mouse. So there it began. Forever he had to live with a mouse. Well, he became attracted to some lady. He liked the lady very much, but not that much that he would give her eternity. So then he had a family and this, that. And then the sons were waiting for the father to die. It was about time, you know. He was 100 years old, right? And what about the inheritance, you know? It just wasn't happening. At one point he even tried to poison him. And he didn't die. And yeah, at one point he lost all interest in the world, you know. That was the end of the story. Yes, eternity in the material world, that becomes hell. If you have to stay here forever in the material world, that's too much. So, but we are eternal, and we've already been so long in the material world, almost eternal. You think you're young. How old are you?
9.
No, not so young. Getting there. Okay. 10 years ago, you were old. Yeah.
10 years ago, you were old.
I'm squeaking like the door. 10 years ago. Yeah. You ever thought of that? Yeah. You were old. Now you're young. And for him, not even 10 years. For him,
7 months.
huh?
7 months.
Boy or girl?
Boy.
Boy, yeah, I thought so. He cries like a boy. No, girls cry a little softer. My mother told me I used to cry very loud because I was a singer, you know. Yeah. Anyway, so yeah, we have all and life after life in this world. So 10 years ago you were old, and before that in another body and another body and another body and another body and another body, almost eternal. So it's been long enough now in this material world. So let's stop looking out of at those pictures over there. Let's look through the windows at the spiritual world. Then we develop a desire to go there. And then we develop a desire to serve Krishna there. Instead of asking Krishna to serve us here. Oh, Dhanande, Rupavati Dev, Rupavaryandehi, oh, Bhagavan, please. Oh Lord, won't you buy our Mercedes Benz? All those things. You want Mercedes Benz?
Sorry?
Mercedes Benz?
You want Mercedes?
Mercedes?
Yes.
Big one.
I want 2.
She wants 2. But that's not fair because you have 2 children.
What
So-
should I think about that?
So they need, isn't it? If Kunti has a Mercedes Benz, you also want it.
That's why I want 2.
But how about yourself? You need 3. You have to pay for it. That's the material world. Somebody always has to pay for it. That's the problem. I'm just saying, that's the difficulty. So, you were the mouse, you walked straight into the trap. What to do? Anyway, so let us then focus on the spiritual world. But not just by knowledge. If you do it by knowledge, then okay, I must be serious about going back to the spiritual world. No. We're doing it by bhakti. And then what happens is you serve Krishna, and then you develop a desire to serve him more and more and more. And at one point, it's not just about us taking more and more and more, but it's about giving. You get this huge sweet ball, this big, very tasty, right? And then you just give it to someone else. Because it's fun to give. And then after you feel something, just this, some strange feeling when you start giving. And it's addictive. And the more you start giving, the more fun it is. And then you want to give. And then you go to the neighbors. No. Some prasad. And when the children come, they can't say no. Well, in Mayapur, the children are the best book distributors. Because everyone takes from them. Yeah, so you have to go. No. Enough sleeping now. no more crying. We're going to send you out on book to stage. You're already 7 months. You know. Can't drink milk all day. Anyway, so that is our movement. That ultimately we go to the spiritual world because we are attracted. We become attracted to go to the spiritual world. Then Krishna will take us. As we are getting attracted to go there and to serve Krishna there, then Krishna, oh, come, now you come. Now you come. And this attraction comes from just serving Krishna. And then say, let's go. And then one day, like in Vrindavan, I'm writing a book. And in my book, I'll tell you one little thing. It's a novel, and there's one story. I'm bringing people to Vrindavan, some philosopher and some psychologist and some lawyer, and they're in Vrindavan, and they're getting a whole Vrindavan experience. And one day I'm taking them to Ter Kadamba, and we are there. And the parrots are just dancing in the sky, squeaking in ecstasy. And we're there at Ter Kadamba. And then what happens is that I tell them, you know, you simply remember Krishna. And I told them, I said, I used to be in Vrindavan, in Prabhupada's house. And there's one painting. And the painting is of Krishna and Balaram coming home in the evening. And behind them, there is like a white river of the cows. Right? And then Krishna and Balaram are walking on front. And then Nanda and Yasoda are standing at the side of the pathway. And in front of Krishna there's a peacock. And that peacock is not dancing, it stands frozen. And then there's a monkey looking down from the tree. And there are white birds flying in the sky above Krishna, following Krishna and Balaram. And all the eyes are on Krishna and Balaram. And the elderly residents of Vrindavan stand in front of the village looking at Krishna and Balaram coming back. And the gopis stand behind the columns or on the roof of the houses looking from a distance at Krishna. And everyone is looking at Krishna and Balaram to return. So I'm explaining all this, how I used to chant in front of this painting, and how I was looking at this painting, and how for years I used to chant my japa in front of this painting, meditating on this painting. And he said, yes, this painting, it's just the spiritual world. I said, let's go. Let's step into the painting. And then in the book we step into the painting. Oh yes, we do. And we are there. We are there, right there. And Krishna, because it's already afternoon and they're coming back soon, and we're standing at the side of the pathway. They have not yet come, but at one point, on the palace of Yasoda, there's a tower. And on top of that tower, there's a gopi. And it's the tallest gopi. And the tallest gopi is there. And she's looking, and at one point, she calls out, dust!
Yeah.
The dust from the hoof of the cows. And everybody knows that means they're coming, they're coming. They're coming. And, oh yes, Vrindavan wakes up. And then the cows are flowing in like a white river. Krishna Balaram in front. And yes, next to Krishna there is a white cow. A white cow with a face like a Madanga. Madanga Mukhi is called that cow. Same like Madanga face, basically. That's what it means. Yeah. The name of the cow is Madanga Mukhi, which translates as Madanga face. Because they have a head like this. And the other side, There's tilakini, a cow who has a natural tilak next to Balaram, reddish, with big white tilak. Yes, let us go there. Let us go deep into this painting and see what more is there. So in this way, gradually, in the beginning we worship Krishna because we want blessings in the material world. Maybe a Mercedes or two. But later, all we want is to climb through the window into the spiritual world. Yes, and as we are trying to climb in, Krishna's hand will come out of the painting. He'll give us a hand and he'll pull us in. And the spiritual master will be there holding his hands up, say, put your foot in here, lift us in. And before we know it, we're right there on the other side. And then you never have to get old again. Because who wants to be old? You want to be old?
Being old.
Like dried potato. The teeth fall out. And your chin and your nose grow together. Yeah, so that's the spiritual world. So let us, and that's really our movement. That is the Krishna conscious movement. Okay, thank you. Any questions? Any comments?
Thank God there was
There you go.
Good catching.
I've been fruits, Maharaj.
What's that?
It had been fruits.
Fruits. You want me to
No, no.
An apple? Oh.
Pineapple.
No, that's Bhakti Chaitanya. In Durban, in Rath Yatra, Maharaj would throw fruits. And Maharaj can throw, huh? Seriously, not a dangerous you have to really watch out. You know, I mean, long distance. I don't know if he does it in Mauritius, but in Durban he really did. I mean, I was in the kirtan. That's how always keep an eye on Bhakti Chaitanya Maharaj, just in case. And when he gets close to the chariot, then he throws water, and sometimes he gets so into it, you know, like a child. He starts spraying everyone with water. And then he has a cup of water, and he turns it on someone's head. Seriously, looking like, this is too much. So I keep a safe distance. Any flowers left? See how far I go. Yeah. Yeah, so this movement is nice. So no questions? Okay. I'm good at throwing. Okay. The flowers have a life of their own. This is we have to share. Okay, this one is gonna. It's Nityananda Ram, originally from Czech Republic. He's traveled with Harinam Ruchi for a long time. At the moment Harinam Ruchi is split in two groups. One group is with Harinamananda here. They are with us now. They'll also be here and they take everyone out on Harinam. And he's also a good cook. Okay. She's so many flowers left. It's gonna mess up the whole house. And you guys are too far. A flower only flies so far. But I have a solution though. Flower garlands further. Tough. Okay. Finished. So thank you so much for having us here. We're coming to disturb the peace in your house. I just started. This throwing of the flowers is the beginning. And there's more coming. Because our movement is based on ecstasy and not just on peace and quiet. So, okay. So, any comments?
Looking forward to the different programs.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, programs are... When Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was with Ramananda Roy, then Ramananda Roy, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu asked the questions and Ramananda Roy was replying to the questions. And Ramananda Roy pointed out that normally he wasn't able to speak like that. But because of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he was able to speak. So it is like this, that all these programs are depending on the... It's about reciprocation. If you have to give a lecture in front of people who are totally antagonistic, they don't want Krishna, and they're totally disinterested, then it's very difficult. And the lecture is like, oh. Each word is a struggle, you know. But when we speak in front of, when we speak in Mauritius, it's not difficult. We can just go on and on and on and on. So this was just the beginning. And okay. Thank you very much for having me here. I'll try and behave. Be a good guest.
We are very happy to have you around here. And we have been waiting for you since years. We always see
I didn't know, you never told me.
We follow you everywhere by small screen, and today you have manifested here. So it's we are fortunate to have you here.
I'm very happy to be here. Thank you so much. Yeah, that's the small screen these days. You don't know who's following, who's watching.
So 2016 became Mayapur for Kirtan Mela for
Uh-huh.
you and for Gurudev, but that year you were not there.
I was ill that year. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, it was a tough year for me, 2016. Yeah. I was on the way to Mayapur and then I went to the Bhaktivedanta hospital and then they stopped me. What to do? I was almost there. I had the ticket already. Yeah. But we can have kirtan mele in Mauritius. And it's about time for another one. Why not? Yeah. I'm finished now.